What's up, guys? I've been on Metalhead to 150 classic albums by the end of the year, and I'm also doing Patreon requests. Luckily, I have an amazing patron, Michael, who requests Black Sabbath regularly because I can't listen to anything that isn't requested on Patreon now due to the massive amount of support that I'm getting there. It's $5 a month and you get to request an album that's 50 minutes or less, or you get to pick from the classic albums list, which is 360 albums that I've never heard before and I want to listen to for the first time. And every single month, Michael requests Black Sabbath. And I've gone on quite the journey because I didn't realize this until the end of what he was setting up. But I basically heard, I listened to Paranoid on my own volition, and then Master of Reality was he requested that was his favorite Ozzy Osbourne album. And then he requested Heaven and Hell, so it was the best or his favorite Dio album, and then requested Headless Cross and then Eternal Idol remastered versions for the best Tony Martin. And he came out and said that he absolutely loves Tony Martin, and I can kind of see that. Now he's going back to the second best Dio album according to him with Mob Rules. So I'm curious to jump into this one. I think out of all of the albums, the one that has the most replay value for me is actually Heaven and Hell, because I feel like Dio has just a really good 80s sound to his voice. So yeah, I'm curious to jump into it. Let's go. Definitely different than the sludgy That's why Master of Reality. Dio's voice is just so good. Ooh. Iommi's fucking guitar work is so good. Ooh. The guitar work. Ooh. This feels so much more guitar focused. I might want the guitar here to sound a bit more chunky, but overall the guitar work has been so nice. Dio's voice is just so good. This is so guitar solo. I like it a lot. I love the tone of it. It's like kind of electric in like a techno way with the guitar. I actually mean this with like the most respect and love towards Dio in this regard. I haven't heard Heaven and Hell in quite some time because I recorded that maybe like 4 months ago. So I don't know if that was also a part of Heaven and Hell. I don't think it was because I feel like his vocals were the things that I was drawn to the most. On this project though, I feel like he's done an amazing job at stepping back from the limelight and allowing, on this track at least, the guitar work to shine. And considering the fact that I feel like Black Sabbath is predominantly Tony Iommi, like that's Black Sabbath's core and heart, I kind of really like it. Like, Dio's vocals are really good. He's a really good vocalist, but he's kind of playing second fiddle to the guitar here, and it's his backup vocals do really good work on just allowing, yeah, the guitars to breathe and the solos to work, and it sounds really nice. I looked it up, and I saw that this was a 2009 remaster, so I'm really curious if this is an example where Tony Iommi was a part of the remaster, because I know there's a lot of bands and stuff like that where the remaster is done by like the label and stuff like that. I did hear from Michael. He said that I think the Headless Cross and Eternal Idol ones, those remasters, the reason that they actually sound really good is the fact that Tony Iommi was a part of the remastering process, and I'm curious to see if he was a part of the process of this in 2009, because this sounds quite fresh. Like the guitars, despite having this classic 70s 80s sound with a bit of like doom metalish sort of vibes, despite that, it sounds quite modern, like production quality wise. If you haven't watched one of my videos before, by the way, I do ratings on the side. These are my first listens. I listen to these projects multiple times over before I post my ratings in my Discord, where you can chat to me about that. It's like a little server. And then I also post my reviews to Album of the Year. That says 600 written reviews. I've actually written about 1,000. Before this channel, I've listened about maybe 20 albums from front to back my entire life. And I decided to make this channel to explore classic albums, because the only albums I listened to were Linkin Park, Bring Me the Horizon, all these like modern metal bands and stuff like that. And I never listened to Paranoid before. And I've never listened to Black Sabbath front to back or anything like that. So I started this channel to get into that. On Album of the Year, my average rating is about 6 out of 10 over the course of about 1,200 albums. So I've listened to about 1,200 albums compared to 20 across my entire life, 1,200 in the last year. And yeah, my average rating is a 6 out of 10. I solely think that's because I get requested better albums. Like Patreon requests and audience, they're not going to request the worst Black Sabbath album. They're going to be requesting the best of Dio with Heaven and Hell, or they're going to request Master of Reality. They're not going to request... I think the worst considered is... One sec. I think the worst I've heard is Forbidden and Tear, maybe. Those two, I swear I've heard Have Little Ways. But like, yeah, I don't get requested those. I get requested the ones that people like the most. So I listen to more good albums than bad. My average rating, I think, is like a 5 out of 10. Spiritually, because if something's a 5.1, I think it's above average. And that's all to say that I think this is a 7.5. Like, I think this is a good to great track. And it's leaning more towards great on this point. Like, on a re-listen, when I'm combing through these tracks, I might give this an 8, because the guitar work is just so stellar, and it sounds really, really good. And it's aged quite beautifully from like 1981, where like there's a lot, like if you listen to like some Motley Crue stuff, right, and stuff like 80s rock, hard rock, and like heavy metal and stuff, their guitar work doesn't have the same timeless factor that Iommi does. So yeah, it was really good. Ooh, this sounds great. Oh, this sounds real large. Ooh, why does this sound so much better? I already thought Charms of Night sounded nice. Quality-wise, this sounds really good. Ooh. Ooh. That's a cool guitar work sound. How'd they do that? Yeah, the quality here is insane. Like, I already thought Time of the Night was really good recording quality. But this feels like it's just gone to another level. Like, both on the guitar front and the vocal front. Ooh. It's kind of messier. I like it. That's such a good solo. If I remember correctly, I was sorry to pause it, but like if I remember correctly, when I was listening to Heaven and Hell, or maybe when I was listening to some Tony Martin, the vocals are really good and the guitar work is really good, but they're clean, you know, like the type of crescendos that they do, that sort of thing. It's not trying to, it's trying to sound very clean, pristine, and like hit the right notes. There's like a spunk in the guitar work. There's like a grinding sort of aspect to it that I really enjoy. Like, it's more, think of it as more in line compared to like if you listen to Nirvana, like Nevermind is a lot cleaner of a sound, but if you listen to In Utero, there's like these abrasive sort of amp squeals and the noise rock elements. It feels like this is delving more into that sound with how some of the guitars work. Like when it crashes in from, because he's a Voodoo, there's this like really abrasive sound that I really like, because I love noise rock. I love post-hardcore sort of punky energy and that sort of thing. So those like noisier elements that are more abrasive, they really ring true to me, and the stuff that I like. So yeah, I really enjoy this. The cohesion between the two here is nice. Like this riff here is giving Dio room, and then like the solos have such a nice focus on them. Like, I think this is an 8.5. Like, I think this is low-key great to an amazing track. Like, it also has, like, this... The quality on it just has this kind of, like, single star power sort of energy. It's, like, the thing that I feel like modern albums do is, they will have these albums, and then, like, the 2 or 3 singles that end up being the best songs have so much more like care and attention to detail added to them, that they have the quality of like what any track off of like Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen would have, where like there's so much care and attention put to every single song on that project. It feels like, because more modern albums, they're like 30 songs, 20 songs long. There's like they don't have as much time to on each track, so there's like 3 singles that they beef up the most. that quality that you can't, that single quality, I feel like Voodoo has that in spades when it comes to this, because the last track, with what I was talking about, with like the like Dio's vocals being like playing second fiddle to the guitar, I liked that dynamic because the guitar work is so nice and so dynamic. But it's kind of really cool on this track that like both of them feel like they have center stage just at different points. Yeah. I really like the album cover as well. Martin Birch is the producer. Who's Martin Birch?
There isn't light when no one sees. Then how can I know what you might believe?
Ooh, Deep Purple Rainbow. Fleetwood Mac.
A story told that can't be real.
I'm gonna pull up the lyrics for this one.
Must reflect the truth we feel, yeah.
I can see the lyrics, but not, it's not on screen.
Fade away, vanish into smoke. Fade away,
The vocals on here
break the
are great.
crystal dawn. If an echo doesn't answer when it hears a certain song, then the beast is free to wander, but never seen around. And it's the sign of the Southern Cross.
Ooh. This has that 80s vibe to it. Now that I've heard Tony Martin as well, I feel like that 80s sound that Heaven and Hell has feels very Dio. Like that's probably coming from Dio. And it's like in this track a lot as well. I'm thinking it also comes from like Martin Birch, I think it was, and Dio, where like probably from Rainbow. Like I haven't heard any Rainbow tracks, but I'm assuming this is kind of what Rainbow sounds like. Because there's like injections of Iommi guitars, but like overall it feels quite different types of progressive sounds. It's a really nice atmosphere, production-wise. Ooh, like these sounds, this really nice directional sound here. Like this, I haven't heard Rainbow, but this feels like something like that progressive rock sort of sound, like that Pink Floyd-y is like the closest like progressive rock from the time I've heard. Like Dark Side of the Moon has stuff like this. I feel like this is not what I think Black Sabbath sounds like. But I appreciate this element being dragged into it. Like this, or Black Sabbath, like the less guitar-focused directional sounds, that sounds like it could come from like the producer or like the Dio's input.
On a real world west of wonder, somewhere, nowhere. There's a rainbow sea and shimmer when the summer falls. From the book, the word is spoken, whispers from forgotten songs. Gather all around the young ones, they will make us strong. It's the sign of the Southern Cross.
Like this sound here, Dio, I mentioned on the last one, there's this like final countdown sound to it, which is interesting.
Don't live for pleasure. Make life your treasure. Fireworks. 8 miles high, about to fall, and no one there to catch you. Look for the sign, the time, the sign of the Southern Cross.
Yeah, this is just a great track. I love the melding of like the Black Sabbath and what I assume is like Dio and Rainbow sounds together. Also, that's a really nice transition. That's a really nice transition. I love this. I really like the sounds here. It's like it feels so much more experimental and like prog rocky to me. I think I will consider this unrated. Because if something's an interlude or like instrumental, usually they're shorter. This one's a bit shorter than the tracks. But also on top of that, they're not going to be as memorable and get as high of a rating. So it feels weird to weight it because the way I do ratings is track averages. But in saying all of that, despite the fact I'm not going to rate this track, I like it a lot. It just feels like a different league when I'm doing album ratings. To treat this as the same as a Voodoo or the Silent of the Sonic Cross. But this sounds sick. I think this, out of all of the albums, this might be my favorite interlude. Like, I think I like this more than Rat Salad. Like, the way that they play with, like, these electronic sort of sounds and stuff. Granted, I wish it transitioned into that. Like, I wish it didn't just do a little bit. The guitar work is sick. This feels more cookie cutter Black Sabbath to me. This is so interesting. I think I might prefer the other tracks to this. Like, this track is more what I consider and what I expected for Black Sabbath sort of sound, right? The other stuff, because I feel like Dio has pretty strong like footprint. What is footprint? A handprint on some of these tracks. This feels like the most quintessential Black Sabbath sort of song to me. I could be wrong on that one, but that's how I feel. But it doesn't. I don't know. It's not as daring as the other tracks, and I don't think you necessarily need to have these like super experimental sort of tracks or anything like that. As much as I've appreciated some of those more like experimental stuff on this record so far, but I feel like this is just, it doesn't excite me as much as the other songs have. which feels odd because this is more what I would have expected from Black Sabbath. So I think for that, I'll say it's decent, because it's kind of what I expect from Black Sabbath, but it doesn't wow me in any way, but I like Black Sabbath, so it's decent. Oh, let's have some fire to it. It could just be a production or mixing thing, because maybe when they remastered this, they went to these songs, not the title track, to spend time on like updating the production quality and stuff like that. Because this sounds more large. His vocals are really nice on there. Yeah, I feel like that's the kind of vibe I'm getting, is like these lower tracks that are lesser loved, on the remastered version here, they got more attention. And I can kind of feel like I hear that. I love his voice on there. Yeah, this is like a 7.5 to me. The vocals that Theo shows on this track are just so good. Like, I might have given it an A. He has such a good frontman quality to him. This one feels like it's got less time to it as well. Ooh, I like those vocal lines. Ooh. I love that guitar solo. Ooh, I like how bassy that is. Ooh, that's funky. Oh, Dio's star powers are so sick on this project. That was so good. Like 7 or and honestly re-listen, it might be as good as Country Girl. Like that was so nice.
About closing the door, and lately I think of it more. I'm living well out of my time. I feel like I'm losing my mind.
Oh, his vocals are so stunning. Ooh, I like the ominous feeling on this. Ooh. I like how cavernous the drums sound. This is probably the best song on the album. Such a nice guitar solo. Ooh. The ending didn't, like, the last, like, 30 seconds to a minute didn't have the same pizzazz to me as, like, the first, like, 3 to 4 minutes. But the first 3 to 4 minutes were just so amazing that I still think it's a great song. I still think it's 8, and it's on the same level as, like, Voodoo and the Sign of the Southern Cross. The vocals, absolutely stunning. The sound design, the atmosphere in the first, like, 3 minutes of the track, just gorgeous. Yeah, this has been a really good album so far. I love Dio's voice. I feel like you can't have a bad song with Dio's voice. Like, it's just he's born to be a frontman sort of thing. Ooh, the guitar work. Oh, the guitar. It reminds me of the first track where, like, that is clearly the selling point on this one. It annoys me that there are so many good Black Sabbath albums that just don't get any of the love and praise because it's outside of the Ozzy Osbourne era. Like, this is a really good album. So was, like, Eternal Idol and stuff. I don't know. I just thought. Oh. I love how grand this is. Oh, what a great track. Oh. It reminds, I guess, like, I wonder if, when I was thinking about the band that I grew up with that I absolutely loved, Linkin Park, I weirdly found a decent amount of crossover with Black Sabbath, and I wonder if, like, it had it, the similarities is the reason why they get the later Black Sabbath albums get a bit overlooked. Because I went to Linkin Park's concert with Emily, the new frontman, after Chester Bennington died like nearly a decade ago now. Which broke me. It was like the first and probably only time like a celebrity death impacted me. Really impacted me because I absolutely loved Linkin Park, and I never got to see them live because I was like 15 when they died, maybe 15, yeah. And despite the fact that, weirdly enough, despite Chester being such an amazing vocalist, Emily, her best work, in my opinion, isn't with the new album. It isn't with, which melds a bit of the old Linkin Park with like the new direction they want to go. It's when she's doing Chester Bennington stuff, but because it's just a new person, it doesn't have the same luster. Chester Bennington was just such a larger than life figure in the band. Like for the fans and stuff like that, it's like it's the Chester's voice, the same way it's like Ozzy's like stage presence, all that sort of stuff is the thing that strives. And when I looked at when I saw Linkin Park, it made me realize their first album was in 2000. It's 2026. That's the equivalent of this album, I think. So it was 1969 or 1970 when the first one came out. 11 years later, you have Dio here. On Mob Rules. That's actually half the time. But I know I'm rambling a bit, but like we look at Linkin Park and people are like, oh, they've fallen off. It's like, yeah, they're 26 years into their career, but also on top of that, Emily does a really good job. But because it's just not Chester, she doesn't get the same plaudits. And I feel like the same sort of thing can be said about Black Sabbath here. Like Dio does a really good job. Even Tony Martin on the album, which is the most overlooked one. Like he does good on a lot of albums, especially on the remastered versions of those albums. And it's kind of sad that just because one frontman has changed, like one member has changed, they don't get the same level of plaudits, despite the fact that obviously, like everyone knows here, like Tony Iommi is like the front, like he's the heart of the band. He's the reason that Black Sabbath sounds like Black Sabbath. And it's probably is the reason why this still sounds like a Black Sabbath album, despite the fact that there is so much like prog rock sort of influence, I feel like, in this project that kind of just doesn't remind me of Black Sabbath. But it still feels like a Black Sabbath record, despite the fact, again, Dio doesn't sound like I haven't listened to Rainbow, but like Dio doesn't sound anything like Ozzy, and a lot of the instrumentals don't, and like instrumentation doesn't sound like it. I don't know. It annoys me. Not annoys me. It saddens me that it just seems like this era, anything post Ozzy just doesn't get any love, and it's understandable. Like Ozzy is incredibly beloved, but I don't know. I think it deserves it because this is a great album, and yeah. And I really appreciate having the ability to listen to this. Some like my favorite comments. You're not meant to have favorites. I feel like it's mean, but I do kind of have favorites when it comes to older bands, and older artists when I'm doing them, and the comments that I get from those communities, like Black Sabbath or Bruce Springsteen, because I said it in the Bruce Springsteen reaction I just did today, so I'm repeating myself for today, but you guys wouldn't have heard it. But the similarities between them is just the fact that newer audiences, people my age or younger, they have more realms, more places to go to be able to talk about their favorite artists because the internet is designed for them. Like, be it if you grew up with social media, grew up with an iPad in your face when you're like one, like the internet's designed for you. Like you've gone so I don't know, like also like the world is designed for youth culture in a way, like all of nightlife, all of that sort of stuff is kind of designed that way. So you just have more avenues to be able to talk about your favorite bands and stuff like that. So when I'm able to listen to D'Angelo, when I'm able to listen to Bruce Springsteen, Black Sabbath, all of that, and the comments I get being so lovely and all of that, everything, it just feels nicer because it's like, I just picture myself when I'm 50. Would I be able to find that many places to be able to talk about like how much I live Linkin Park or be able to experience that sort of thing more often than someone that's like younger? Probably not. So like I really appreciate when you guys comment and support when it comes to new album, like the older albums, and I really appreciate Michael for always requesting Black Sabbath and allowing me to have the opportunity to listen to older artists and connect that way. But yeah, I appreciate it. Um, Thank you guys for watching. I thought this was a great album, and I think like this is definitely overlooked compared to the other projects. But yeah, thank you so much. If you want to support further, you can go to Patreon, $5 a month, all that jazz. I love you. Peace.